what if? A lot of times I'll be in a 200-mile run or something like that, and I'm all jacked up. Body's broken, mind's broken, spirit's broken. I start to say, what if I can pull this off? When I first walked into the Navy SEAL recruiter's office, he looked at me and said, there's only been 35 African Americans in 70 years make it through. You know what I said to myself? What if I can be the 36th? It's the what if I can pull off a fucking miracle. What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be? And just me talking about that, I have the hair going up on my arms because it makes me just like, what if? You know what? I grew up not that guy. So a lot of people put a title on me. They want to, they see me now. They see me now as the guy that with his shirt off who can do 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours, who can run 205 miles in 39 hours, who can do all this crazy shit. But what they don't understand is they don't understand the journey that it took me to get to this point. And what got me to this point was I was just the opposite of what I am today. I was that guy who ran away from absolutely everything that got in front of me. But not many people knew that. I had two people. Like the real me was like this very scared, insecure, stuttering, got beat up by his dad, all this kind of stuff. And then I built this fake person that walked around like my shit didn't stink. I tried to fit in. And by me trying to fit in with every group I was in, I lost myself. You want everybody to like you, so you become a million different people. And in those million different people, there's a bunch of lies. I had to totally tear down. The foundation of David Goggins is very cracked and broken because, as you know very well, when you're a child, that foundation is being built. And it's the only time it gets built. But we have the opportunity, once again, through visualization, you have to build what you want. While David Goggins will always exist, I had to rebuild a foundation. That foundation was built on the core principles of what I wanted in life, not what other people helped create. So what I did was I stepped back and said, okay, what do I want to be? And I wanted to be a badass. I wanted to be a man that went to sleep every night proud of who he was. Not proud of money, not proud of women or fame or, oh, can you sign this or sign? No, I wanted to be proud of me. I had to really I realized I had to reinvent a whole nother human being within myself because who I am wasn't going to make it. This guy is not going to cut it. So I had to be a guy who can take any kind of pain, any kind of suffering, any kind of torture, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I had to have the people who I had to visualize everybody that called me had to be in a room of people like this. I had to make up these things in my mind, the things I had to overcome. And I started callousing my mind through a process. It basically started with working out. In my mind, I was always afraid. My whole life I was afraid, but I had this voice, this conscience that would always be battling me, saying, hey, you got to get up and do something. I didn't want to do shit. You know, I was just afraid, but that voice would force me to get up. No one's going to come to help me. No one's going to come to help me. It's me against me, period. And so I had to man up. And I said, the first thing I got to start doing is facing every fear I have. No matter what it is, man. And these things would keep me up. And no one, people who are hearing this shit, they will never really understand and grasp when you face these things and so many things, how they keep you up and haunt you at night.
Well, it's 11 degrees out here right now, and I'm about to go running. Like I always tell people, I can't stand, I hate it. It's 11 degrees. What's fun about running in 11 degree weather? People always asking, why do I run if I hate running? Simple answer to that question. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL, and to be a Navy SEAL, you have to run. So things you want in life is not designed just for me. I want to be a Navy SEAL, so they don't just take out running. No, it's part of the program, so I better get used to running, which is why I run now. You want to be a doctor, guess what? You got to study your ass off to be a doctor. That's not a lot of fun either. You want to be a lawyer. You want to be anything in life. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication, so there's a lot of things you're not going to want to do. So I hate running. It's 11 degrees, so guess what I'm going to go do? I'm going to go run, because why? I wanted to be a SEAL. That's part of the training. My life, I blamed everybody. And a lot of people had a lot to do with my failures.
but it's now mine to own. And every day I went through and I tried to kind of like solve these problems. And the biggest problem it was trying to fit in. I was trying to fit in. I was blaming other people. I wasn't taking accountability for my own actions. I was doing all these things wrong. And I felt like, man, I have to now really start to overcome my fears, because I felt so small. Every day I had this haunting voice in my head saying, you're nothing. You're nothing. And I had to start conquering myself. I failed. I go back to scratch. I use some positive motivation. I have like one day where I'm like defeated. But I started realizing this is part of the process. This is part of the journey. I had to realize this is part of my process versus just saying, like I used to, I'm just not good enough. If I'm not good enough, we always say that shit. I'm just not good enough. And then we try something else. I'm going to make myself good enough. And that became my mentality. I'm going to make myself good enough. And so I misunderstood a lot, but that's all it came down to. I made myself good enough. And the days I couldn't run that far, the next week, I would do 2 a days. So on the running, if I ran a quarter of a mile, I wait a couple hours, it'd haunt me, bother me. I try to run a half a mile the next time. Same day. You can do more than this. If I had to walk, I had to walk. It just became just a process of grinding and grinding. And grinding is not even a good word for it. It's not even a good word for it. And just going further and further. And then when I got through running, I go to the bike. I go to the pool. If I got tired somewhere, my legs were tired, I go to the gym. And I developed this crazy workout where I was doing volume, like 200-300 reps of like very lightweight. People always say, how come you don't have any like loose skin? My workout routine in the gym became sick. It became sick. I was just doing 200-300 reps, 400 reps on like chest, just like for one simple exercise, the bench press. And I rack it, get back on it, just rep it out, trying to burn as many calories as I can, build that muscle mass. And I just became obsessed with it. I became very obsessed with finding out more, because I'm like, I came from this horrible human being in my mind to this person who's now amongst uncommon men. And I wanted to then become the most uncommon of uncommon men because of where I came from. I started being able to take negative shit and be happy. And this whole, I say what if a lot, it sounds corny and it sounds weak, but it's true. One of the recruiters said there's not many black Navy SEALs. Matter of fact, I was the 36th African-American SEAL in history. So I was like, man, what story would it be if my fat, dumb, lying to be friends with people, insecure ass can overcome this shit? And that what if mentality, like that dreamer mentality just would always fuel me. It would just fuel me, man, what if I can be a SEAL, man? What if I can go from running a quarter of a mile, now I run 205 miles. What if I can go? What if I can go? And what if, how would that feel? I lost 106 pounds in less than 3 months. I'm a savage, I'm a beast. Yeah. I'd be lying to you. I am vulnerable as hell. People look at me as, oh my gosh, guys run 260 miles at one time and did 4,000 pull-ups and went through SEAL training 3 times and Ranger school, and he's done all these amazing things.
Yeah.
I would love to just live there. Say, yes, this is David Goggins. I'm this great hero, this great legend. When these people see that this guy is human, he is way human. And he has so much fear. But I had to have the Navy SEAL. I had to have the 4,000 pull-ups. I had to have this great resume to give people permission. And you can be a coward.
Yeah.
You can be afraid. You can have a jacked up past, background. Don't be afraid to show it. We're all messed up. Some people just hide it better than others. I started realizing if I can flip these insecurities upside down, if I can flip this fear, if I can flip all this shit that made me this depressed, insecure guy, if I can flip it and make it work for me versus against me, I started seeing the power in failure, the power in insecurity, the power in self-doubt. Because I looked at everybody, it may not be true, but that's how I looked at everybody as being way above me. I thought to myself, if I can be at the lowest part in the world, in the sewer, and be able to overcome all this shit, I started using that as power. And I slowly started passing the guys from Harvard, the guys from MIT, the guys who were from great families and shit. I'm like, oh my God, I'm catching up. I had nothing. So I started flipping it and using it as power. Everything I didn't want to do is what got me to where I'm at today. Every single thing. So where we find comfort, that's where I started getting scared. When I started saying, oh, it's raining, I'm not going out there. No, you cannot say that. You cannot do that. You have got to do this. So whatever my brain thought, I did the opposite. Wherever the comfort was, I went the opposite direction. And over a period of time, boy, it calluses the shit out of your mind. You start to really develop a whole nother being.
Back in the day when I played sports, there was one drill that I hated doing. The coach would have a whistle in his mouth. And basically, we had to sit there and run in place. We ran in place until he blew that whistle. When he blew that whistle, we hit the dirt and bounced up again and started running in place again. And this drill went on and on and on. The one thing that sucked about that drill was the coach was in total control of everything. How long the drill went, when he blew the whistle for us to hit the dirt, when we got back up, started running in place. It was mind-numbing. That drill reminded me a lot about life. I think a lot of us out here, we don't have control. We don't have the whistle. There's someone out there blowing that whistle and we hit the dirt. Some of us choose to stay down, but it's that mother who constantly gets up as fast as they can. Those are the mother that make it in life. So it's our job to always be ready for the whistle.
So basically, a lot of us aren't prepared for life. We get up willy-nilly and just hope life is going to happen. It is going to happen, but it's going to happen with a prepared mind or unprepared mind. Most people attack life with an unprepared mind. What I do is I try to account for all things that could happen, might happen, probably will happen, and then the unknowns. So basically, I can't account for everything, but I do know there could be some things that come up in life that you need to be ready for. I know for a fact I'm not going to want to work out tomorrow. Therefore, I'm preparing my mind for that. I don't want to do that. I know tomorrow will come with some difficult decisions to make. It may come with getting a phone call saying someone died, this happened, that happened. I'm always preparing myself, not in a morbid way, but just like, look, man, be ready for life. Don't let life just start attacking you left and right. Make sure that you start to build a mental armor so then you're ready for life. And that comes with a very physical way, and the physical helps out the mental. You always must be ready. Always be ready. Never get ready. People go, oh, hey, what are you training for, David? I ain't training for shit. When something pops up, I'll be ready. You have to really analyze your life. Because I guarantee you, most of the things that we're going through, someone else has already gone through. So what one person can do, another can do. And it's important that we believe that you are not alone in this journey. You're not the first person to go through what you're going through. Whether it's death, illness, whatever you're dealing with, a learning disability, you're fat, you're bullied, you are not the first person to endure whatever you're going through. So what that means is this: you are just as tough as all the other people that have endured what you are enduring right now. So always stay in the fight. If you're going to suffer and go back in the grind, that internal dialogue you have with yourself when you're in misery and you're uncomfortable, it's a real, scary, unfiltered, no lying dialogue between you and yourself. And people know exactly what the I'm talking about when you're in a bad spot in life and your mind is saying all kind of shit. That's who you really are. That's the real you. That's where the growth happens. When you're able to stay in that moment and talk yourself back into the suck of wherever you're going through, and you start stripping those layers away, but as you're stripping those layers away, you're building calluses over top of shit in your mind. That's where the growth starts to happen, is when you have to force yourself to stay in it. You can't leave it. You're gonna have to suffer, man. This 0.25, man, you're gonna have to suffer to go from this fat, insecure mother to one of the best guys on the planet Earth. This journey is gonna take something that is going to be incomprehensible to most people. And these different visualizations, how I visualize in my self-talk, it became so nasty and dirty that I almost liked the fact that I went 0.25. So it became from being defeated to like, man, all right, maybe tomorrow we can go 0.75. It just became this different mindset. I turned negatives into positives. So I would take it like, who would even think about doing this? So I would sit on my couch saying, who at 297, who can't swim that great, who's scared of the water, would have the balls? Who have the balls to man up, quit a job, and go and just put everything on himself? So it's how I started talking to myself and putting myself in a whole different category, and that would fuel me the next day. And I just kept using that as fuel. No one would do this shit. No one would do this shit. You're the best motherfucker around. You're the best motherfucker ever live. And I just kept fueling me with the right kind of message that I needed to hear that I was never telling myself. And through time, it became reality to myself. We're only 1% away from true greatness. I was only 1% from making that money, from being where I want to be, from having everything in life that I've ever dreamed of. But it's that 1% that we sleep on. It's that 1% that we wake up in that morning and we're like, you know what? Not today. Maybe tomorrow. Well, guess what? That's why it's so easy to be great nowadays, because most motherfuckers are weak. And if all you do is when you are trying to hit that snooze button on life, not in the morning, on life, just know this, all it takes is thinking about all those weak who are taking a day off. And trust me, you will come up real fast. There always had to be a new norm. So one thing we don't do is we don't have a new norm. My new norm is you get up every morning at 4 o'clock and you suffer. This is your new norm. That became my new life. Most people want to get out of it. I said, no, this is your new life. This is who you are. Your new norm is you wake up and you suffer. And I started realizing if that's my mentality, this shit ain't hard anymore.